Hey Mark, this video is for you here. Got this nice little Harbor Freight big old light bar, which works really good for getting under these vehicles and looking at stuff. So this is the passenger side rocker box, and again, this plate, this whole rocker box, and any of the floor that was bad under there, it was all fixed and reworked, and I have the pictures of that as well. So basically, like with the transfer case, I cleaned a lot of the grime off. There was, as you can see, there's still a little bit there. It was all here up on this tail shaft. There was a ton of it sitting in here and all these little crevices. You know, I was using a scraper and a screwdriver, and then I got it out in the street and kind of pressure washed it. Here's the bottom of the floor. This is the area, like this area right here just still had kind of like some old wet. It wasn't actually wet, but just like grimy kind of grease where it just came off really easy. In that section right there, and then that section right there, and the rest of this stuff is just dry. I think the only kind of grimier parts left are the junction points for the e-brake right there and right there. There's a ton of grime in these inner frame rails. Clean those out pretty good. Let's see if we can get the light on that side. There we go. Both pumpkins were pretty clean. They just had just a little bit of grime that were in the corners here that I cleaned out. These springs are all clean. They're not full of grime or anything. Cleaned off this too. There's a lot of grime around that. I think that should be the transmission automatic shifter. And again, all new brakes, everything from the booster to the reservoir to the proportioning valve. I didn't put new brake lines in. Those were good. He cleaned those out, blew them out. And then, of course, new lines here, because the other ones that they had on there were too short. When you turn the wheel, it would like stretch them out. So these are the correct ones that go on here, the longer ones, so when you turn the wheel. And we'll kind of come to the back here. If this has a brighter setting. There we go. And there's the floor for the back. It's all solid. There's where it starts right there. Tim did a really nice job where he cleaned all this off. He cleaned off these inner frame rails all the way up to this point. He did POR 15 on the outer frame rails, anything that was under the cab underneath these rocker boxes, and these rocker boxes are he used the POR 15 on those as well. So you get the inner. And I scraped most of this off. It was really loose in this section. I'll show you the sticker on the front. What they did is they had sprayed an old school, like a rhino lining on this to keep it from rusting out back in the day. And that's what a lot of this stuff is left. As you can see, what I didn't get, it's pretty hardened on there. All the stuff that I got off it came off fairly easy. Again, all new body mounts. And I think what I'll do is I'll do 2 videos here, maybe separate them. And then you let me know what else you might want to see. You can kind of see that. Oh, it's kind of hard. Yeah, there you go. You can kind of see where I did some of the airbrush touch up right there. And then if you look at this other side, I had already did a little 1000 cut on one of them. So that light doesn't help much. So what I'm hoping that it'll turn out is maybe just a very small light smudge mark. Let me open up the garage a little more, maybe that'll help. So right here, there was a spot that was right there. You can kind of see it. I see it right there. There's a small little indentation. Where'd it go? It's hard to see, but right there. So, and that's what most of these are. If you see those right there. So my guy, he'll just cut this down with 1000 grit, probably 2000, 2500, and 3000. Then he'll do a compound, a polish, and then he'll go through and wax everything. And I'm gonna have him do the hood, fenders, cowl, the windshield frame, the doors, and just both sides of the back tub. I'm not gonna tell him to do the tailgate because that tailgate again has that, you know, spot of rust in there, and then that whole bottom lip side is rotted out. But again, this one, and I'll get pictures of both tailgates. They're both the same, they're just different colors. They're both the trim tailgate that have the Cheyenne trim on it. And for the tailgate handle, I sanded this one down a little more just so I could make sure there was no mud or anything under it, underneath that paint. And then I got that blue one down there too, that's really nice. But anyways, let's get back to the driver's side. I do have the original wheel tubs in my backyard that came out of this. One of them's good, one of them's kind of nasty. And the battery tray. That is a reproduction part. I couldn't find a good original one. There's that rocker box up inside it. Then the frame rail. As I can see, you can see like right here, still a little more grime in there. I'm sure there's some more up there too. I tried to get the top the best I could. And I could just see a little more on the transmission, like the housing. There's just a little bit. It's not gunked on or anything, so. And then let me get the back wheel tub. I'm sure some more of this will come off. I just hate scraping it because I don't like putting scratch marks in it. I did a couple of them right there. This inside frame rail to the back. And there's this piece, this back piece of this bed, kind of where that tailgate came down, where it was rotted out, where he replaced that as well. And then that was rhino lined with the same color paint on top of that. This is a hitch that can come off. I think it's only held on there by 3 bolts or something like that. Just need to wipe this off. I kind of got a little dirty while I sprayed it with the pressure washer. You know, keep in mind, I have a guy that's close to me that sells parts for these vehicles, C10s and K5, and if there's anything else that you think you might need or want, you let me know. Again, I have I've got all the interior, I have all of the weather stripping, so there's a piece that goes here, then a piece that goes down and around here, so this is a separate piece. I have these. Then there's one piece that goes down and around, stops right here. Then another piece that comes up right here. And then this is a separate piece that goes in here. And then there's a piece of weather stripping that goes across the front, which I have. And then these two that go across the back. I have all that as well. I have the felts too. Actually, some of this stuff is right here. Like the felts. Those go to the rear seat and the ashtrays, the armrest and the ashtray. These are the new mirrors, CST badges, window cranks, full kits if you wanted the new bumpers, door panel clips, bumper brackets, doorknobs. That goes on the dash. More clips that I was going to place, locks. Some of the older bolts that I have bagged and tagged. The seat belts that go to the back seat. And again, I have the door panels over there that I've already painted and cleaned up, along with that center console. I took that thing completely apart and cleaned it and painted it. And I'm going to have them do a little touch up in here. Not touch up, but I'm going to have them kind of do a light polish on the glove box door and maybe around the dash, if it's possible. And if you can possibly do these lower doors, because luckily these don't have speaker holes cut out in them. And these are just your front and rear bumper, and then that box right there was the lower molding. This lower molding, I mean, it's decent. It has its little dings in it, but the previous owner, the brown, sticker that they put in there, you can see it was kind of getting really old, and he didn't decide to sand it down. He just painted over it with black. And with a CST Cheyenne, it should have the wood grain trim on it, which I do have. And of course, I just left all the felts out and the handles, the locks, the mirrors, because it's going to be easier for Mike to go through this and just do a complete cut and buff. And I asked my guy to pick up, I'm going to pick up new turn signals, the deluxe trim ones. The other ones are kind of old, and once this paint's freshened up, those are going to look pretty bad on there, the ones that are kind of faded out. And let's see, get you a shot of this door panel real quick. Oh, and these two. I have a new set of these. I tried to clean these up with some steel wool and they didn't come out that nice, so I'm just going to buy a new set. But they'll go with it because they're the originals. And I have all that other stuff in here that goes with the two-wheel drive and this truck. And so you know, all the rust was replaced in the two-wheel drive. I had them keep everything. I don't know, it's one of those things I like. Guys that actually do the work and they can prove it. That's how you can show it. So those are the door panels. They've been sanded, cleaned, and painted. And then I did a light satin clear on it, just so they'll hold up. And then that one other thing was the tailgate trim. This is an original that was redone from a gentleman here in Mesa. He put the new letters on it, the wood grain sticker, and then he painted those black inside there. So that goes with it as well with the tailgate. The only thing that I know, this top piece is in great shape, has one little ding in it, and the bottom one's good. This will go with it too. It Yeah, as you can see, it's not very nice anymore. It needs to be redone. And then the side light, the side trim pieces. Mike said he's going to try to touch those up. He can usually put like a 0-aught steel wool to them and kind of clean them up a little bit. And the only other thing I don't like, if you can see in that back window, right there in the middle of the bottom, there was an old sticker they had in there. These 3 windows in the back are tinted. I would love for that tint to come out so you have the clear windows again. I kind of like clear windows. So again, you know, it's a tedious process, you know, with a razor blade and some heat and steam to get that tint out. And then that's all I can think of right now. All the seat belts were good in this, except one of the back ones. It was missing the cover, but I'm still on the hunt for one. I know someone has a cover. I just need one brown, saddle brown cover for that, or the tan one, like this. And again, let me know if you need any other videos or pictures. I'll be happy to get them for you. Thanks, Mark.